Hey guys, going to do a video lesson for you today on just some basic chords and just some basic sort of notes of the, just for beginners, if you're just starting out, just to give you a basic grasp and the foundations to start, getting into guitar and, starting to enjoy playing guitar. So I'm just going to name all the strings now, starting with the lowest, which is the E here. It's the open E, and I'll play it as well. So if you want to tune up, as I play it, try and match this note with your guitar, with your E by adjusting the tuning pegs here to counterclockwise or clockwise to tighten or loosen the string. Until you match the note that I'm playing now. Okay, and same again for the A string, which is the second one in, okay, from the open E, and this is the second thickest string, and that's an A there. If you want to tune up to that. And the third string in from the E is it's the D string here. Just give that a wiggle there, see it there. Play that now. The next string, which is the first of the thinner strings here, you can see it's more sort of shiny look to it. You can see there, just to identify it. And I'll play that now. It's the G string. And the next string now, which is second in from the last string, is the B string. And finally, the thinnest string, which is the high E string now. It's the last string on the fretboard. Okay, and you'll notice that the high E here is the same note, of course, as the low E. Okay, so there's a bit of symmetry there. I'm just going to start off with an E chord, an E major. I'm just going to show you the finger positions for this now. Before we start, it's best to sort of have a little, just do a few little exercises, because you don't want to stay on the strings too long, at a time when you're beginning, because you might get sort of strains in your fingers and things and cramps. That you want to avoid, because that can sort of hinder your progression if it gets bad enough. So make sure you have plenty of breaks between this sort of your first sort of attempts at playing these chords, because it seems like you have to apply a lot of pressure when you're starting out playing guitar, especially if you're a younger person as well. It's quite sort of strenuous on the muscles in your forearms, and the joints and tendons in your hands, so be careful there. Okay, starting with the E chord now, the E major, you need to get your ring finger here, your ring finger, don't worry, I'm not swearing at you, and you need to put that on the second fret on the A string, which is the second string in, okay, I should make that note there, okay. And your middle finger here, I'm swearing at you now, that needs to go on the D string on the second fret, okay? See that there? And then your final index finger here needs to go on the G string on the 1st fret. Okay, you need to hold that down, and you need to apply a fair bit of pressure, not uncomfortable amount of pressure, but you need to make sure it's enough pressure to avoid fret buzz, which is basically where you don't apply enough pressure and the note is not completely barred across the fret. So an example, just show you what it sounds like now. So playing it properly, it would sound like that. You know, playing it not enough pressure would sound. Hear that buzz? A bit of a buzz there. So you need to make sure that you've got enough pressure to do that, but not so much pressure that you're sort of, you know, it's a bit uncomfortable. Okay, so you need to include the bottom E in this chord, and of course the last 3 strings, or the last 2 strings, open strings here, the E and the B, or the B and the E at the end here. And you need to strum across the board with holding all of these notes down, and that'll give you a nice E major chord. Okay, that's what it should sound like. Okay, and another thing you need to watch out for as well is sort of, you can get a problem sometimes where when you're starting out, you need to sort of get the gapping right here with your fingers, and you need to arch your fingers enough so that the posture of them avoids any of the underside of your fingers here hitting any of the, or brushing against any of the other open strings. For example, in the E chord we're playing now, your your middle finger in the E chord we're playing now, your middle finger here may sort of touch the you can hear it there, the G, and you'll know when it is because you'll feel it on the sort of flesh of your finger, which will mute it, and it will sort of hinder the chord, and it won't sound as you want it to. So you need to make sure it's a nice clean chord. Okay, including all the notes on the that you're pressing down, as well as the open strings around it. Okay, so the next chord I'm going to show you is the counterpart to the E, which is the E minor chord, which is an easier sort of version of the E, if you like, because it only involves 2 fingers and they're already in the position from playing the E major. So you see, you take your index finger away, your first finger away, and you literally play all of the strings on the guitar with these 2 held down, and there you can see that gives you an E minor. The difference between E major and E minor, or any minor and major chord, is quite simply, to put it very simply, is that's a happy chord and this is a sad chord. And you can tell that from the mood of the chord, you can just tell it from the tone. You know, any music you listen to, of course, you'd be able to tell the different changes, or at least the different changes in their mood. Okay, so another chord I'm going to show you is an A chord. So this is going to be an A chord, which is one thing you need to do is take completely out of account for this chord the E string. Okay, just don't touch that E string when you're playing this chord, because it's not part of the chord at all. You need to include the A string because that's the root note, and that's essential for the chord's sound. So what you need to do here is your index finger, your first finger, on the 2nd fret of the D string at the top sort of half of the fret, and then you've got your index finger here on the 2nd fret again, but on the G, and then you've got your final ring finger here on the 2nd fret of the B. And you need to include in this the high E as well when you strum this. So you're including the open A and the high E. Okay, so it should sound like this. Again, no sort of disturbances from your nail there, for example. That could make quite a nasty noise. So you need to just keep it nice and clean. Keep a good strength on the fretboard and keep the posture of your fingers nice and arched there. And then the counterpart to this one, to this chord, is of course the A minor, which is, the way I like to look at it, is basically the same shape as the F chord that I showed you before, only you're moving the fingers all up one string. See? So now, instead of having the index finger on this first fret of the G, it's on the first fret of the B, and your middle finger is on the second fret of the G, and your ring finger is on the second fret of the D. And of course, again, you include, because it's an A chord, you only include the A string here, the A, bottom A, and the final high E as well. So this is what that sounds like. Okay, so minor, major, A minor, A major, then you've got E major, E minor. Oh wow, I should play it like that really for you. Okay, so I hope this lesson has helped you. I'm sorry I've waffled on quite a lot. You'll do fine, don't worry. Just make sure you just practice them individually, and you can, eventually you can practice sort of switching between them very slowly at the start. Don't try and rush it like I did, because you just get nowhere. You end up just fumbling everywhere, and it doesn't sound great. So you need to start with sort of switching very slowly. You'll find that you're very tentative to sort of, switch this sort of speed, and that's fine. That's absolutely brilliant. Just make sure you do that. And same there again. You got E minor, A minor. Eventually, you'll be able to switch between them, no problem at all. But it's going to take you a bit of time. Stick to it, and it'll come out fine in the end. Thanks for watching, and subscribe.